The courage to be disliked. Welcome to the tavern, my friend. Tonight the tavern stands in Lyrathen, a city of white stone bridges and mirrored waters, where reputation is currency and approval is mistaken for safety. Before I tell you this story, let me ask you something honestly. How many choices have you made not because they were right, but because they were easier to explain? How many times have you swallowed your truth just to keep the room comfortable? If you've ever felt exhausted by being liked, stay with me. This is a story about the quiet cost of approval and the courage it takes to choose integrity instead. The tavern appeared softly at the edge of Lyrathen's reflection pools, where the city admired itself most. People here don't ask who you are, they ask how well you blend in. That's when I noticed him. He stood apart from the laughter, posture careful, words measured, a man practiced in agreement, a man who had learned that harmony mattered more than honesty. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, rehearsed. I try to be good to everyone. That sentence is heavier than it sounds. He spoke of respect, of praise, of how often people called him kind, and then, more quietly, I don't know when I stopped saying what I meant. In Lyrathen, disagreement is seen as betrayal. Boundaries are labeled selfishness, and truth, unpolished truth, is called rude. I met his eyes. Being liked isn't proof you're kind. Sometimes it's proof you're afraid. He didn't argue. He didn't smile. He simply exhaled, as if something heavy had finally been named. The fire shifted, not louder, but sharper. The room leaned in. I raised a paw gently, slowing the moment. My friend, let me ask you this. When was the last time you disappointed someone by telling the truth? He searched his memory, found nothing. So I offered my own. I told him how even a lion standing steady behind this bar once believed being needed meant being valued, how I mistook peacekeeping for wisdom and silence for strength. Integrity isn't loud, but it is costly, because the moment you stop performing, someone will be unhappy. Alex set a drink down between us, voice quiet but sure. If everyone likes you, he said, someone important isn't being heard. The tavern didn't rush the silence that followed. It respected it. He had the look of someone going through a drastic revelation. When he spoke again, his voice was less polished, more alive. If I stop agreeing, they might leave. I nodded. Yes, that truth deserves honesty. Then I asked him something else. If you keep agreeing, will you leave? I mean, will you leave yourself? The answer came without words. I told him this, slowly, carefully. Being disliked for who you are is lighter than being praised for who you're not. He didn't change when he left the tavern. The bridges still gleamed outside, the mirrors still reflected smiling faces, but he walked differently. Not louder, not cruel, just honest. And honesty, I've learned, has weight, but it also has roots. Before you go, let me leave you with this. Kindness without integrity becomes self-erasure, and approval bought with silence is never free. You will not be liked by everyone, but you will finally be known by yourself. If this story met you where you are, and you'd like more nights like this, more stories that trade comfort for truth, the tavern will return, not to please you, but to remind you who you are. Until then, my friend, choose the courage to be disliked. So, this is a really hard subject at times for people to grasp because we want to be liked by everybody and we want to make everyone smile. And it's really difficult to understand that as we move through life, at times, we will anger people. We will make our enemies, well, hopefully they won't be enemies, okay? If they ever do become enemies, then that's a completely different topic for a different video. We will offend people sometimes by just existing, and that's just who we are as people. I often say, be true to yourself, because at the end of the day, any opinion that anyone has about you isn't as relevant as the one that you have about yourself. Your own opinion about the person that's looking you in your face in that mirror is the most important, because that's the person you have to live with. And sometimes that's the hardest thing we can do. We have to make sacrifices in this life. Sometimes we choose to sacrifice our own happiness to make sure that others are, well, less happy. And I should say more happy. Why did I say less happy? To ensure that others are more happy. Don't be a jerk and make them less happy. Anyway, train of thought got derailed just slightly. What I mean to say is we make sacrifices. Sometimes we sacrifice our own happiness for the good, for the betterment of someone else. And depending upon the situation, that can be a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that I see you if you're doing this type of thing, if you're sacrificing your own, well, feeling of happiness. I see that. I'm just cautioning you against it. It is far better to be loved by yourself than liked by anyone on this planet. Okay? Take care of yourselves out there. Come to the tavern whenever you want. Doors are always open, and I will have a beverage for you. Take care, my friend. Thank you for getting through all of this with me yet again. And be well. I will see you soon.